my main frustration at the moment is simply not having a sustainable income. That would be nice to see more of. But I think in terms of the games industry that I interact with, I think I want to see more of people pushing their game to non-games groups. I like seeing people displaying their games in odd locations, but I don't like having a business card presented to me after that. I think it's a very interesting dynamic of exhibiting games without aiming to sell them, whether that's straight away or online later or download from wherever. I think it's totally fine. There are some games that I would love to play at a party and then never play again. I'd still love to know who the artist is and follow them and see what they make next. But I think there's a very odd sort of networking feel to a lot of events, and that's something that I'm definitely striving to combat. Generally, I just want to see more. I just want to see more. I just always want to see more games, and sometimes it feels very overwhelming when there's some sort of game making event online, and suddenly there's an influx of these small, free, amazing little games. But then I love playing all of them, and I want to show that to as many people as possible. So I think this side of games, this kind of short, experimental, artistic side of video games, is really interesting and really important at the moment because of the contribution it has to the larger games industry. I mean, it happens in film and art and everything. It's commercially successful stuff takes its cues from the more experimental artistic endeavors. So having a way to support these artists is very important. Luckily, Victoria has some funding. Perth is still waiting, and so does everywhere else. But it's very noticeable, even just coming across the country, of how much difference that makes in the art scene. And I think there's a very interesting dynamic between the arts scene and the commercial scene all around the world, but especially here. And it can be very abrasive sometimes, but that's fine. It all makes for better results, more interesting interactions. I certainly find it interesting. But I do find that the art scene is the more exciting place to look. There's so many different innovations that come out of it, and also just so much love and compassion and care put into games. And I think that's an incredibly important thing to put into games because it totally shows. And sometimes you just don't feel like you can put that into a commercially successful product. I've definitely worked on games where we've had to take out a bit of the heart to make it sell better, and it's painful, but you know it's the right thing to do if you want to eat that night. So I think there's it's always a tightrope to walk,